Welcome to ESPN's presentation of college basketball on the 2021 NIT. Denton, Texas is the site as #1 top-seeded Memphis takes on the 2nd seed Boise State in just a few moments. Quarterfinal round action of the NIT rumbles on here this evening with the semifinals on tap. For Saturday, Colorado State has advanced, Mississippi State has advanced as well. Meanwhile, the winner of this one will take on the Rams of Colorado State. Hello everybody, Derek Jones and Corey Alexander with you this evening. And Corey, as we take a look at this quarterfinal matchup, Boise State will try to carry some of that hot shooting from round one into tonight's game.
Well, Boise came into the game on last Thursday losing 4 straight, and then they got off to a hot start for Coach Leon Rice, getting out to a 30-9 advantage over SMU, and they did it beyond the three-point arc. Started out making 8 of their first 10 threes, went on to make 10 out of 17 in the first half, and they got so many different players involved, spacing the floor, knocking down shots from beyond the arc, that they opened up things with their big man, Mladen Armouche, on the interior, who went to work against SMU. 18 points, 10 rebounds for Armouche, who had the center position on lock, and the painted area was all his as he was able to dominate the competition on the interior.
And Armouche will have a captive audience watching tonight from Serbia, or should we say good morning in Serbia, because currently it's 3 a.m. Friday morning as his parents watch on from Serbia, hoping to see his team advance to the semifinal round of the NIT. But we take a look at the other side of things, Corey, for Memphis. Their defense has been a big staple for them.
Well, Memphis was a team that led the country in field goal percentage defense a year ago. Well, they're 9th this season at 39%, but you see what they do from beyond the three-point arc, only allowing 27% success to their opponents, and that's one of the areas where Penny Hardaway likes to get his guys out into passing lanes and take away those clean looks from beyond the arc.
As we get a look there at Coach Penny Hardaway, the perennial NBA All-Star, 3rd season with the Memphis Tigers, and he has certainly impacted this program, Corey.
When you consider Penny, we talked to him, he simply talked about managing personalities. That's been the biggest difference for him coming into college basketball from where he was a player to now as a coach, dealing with the personalities, but his group is playing very good basketball here at the end of the season.
Leon Rice will try to stop the Memphis Tigers. And the head coach, the successful head coach, most successful in program history, 218 wins, as he made his way as an assistant at Gonzaga to Boise State, leading them into the NIT quarterfinal round, looking for a W, Corey.
Okay, and Coach Rice, refreshed by the trip that his team was actually able to make home after 12 days on the road, getting back to Texas, but a refreshed group now with their eyes on winning an NIT championship.
And we'll see how that impacts him, because certainly they were able to leave the bubble in Texas to go back home, as you said. We'll see if they have some extra juice here to start, similar to what happened to them in that SMU game that they were able to win 85-84. The opening tap controlled by the Memphis Tigers. Get you the starting 5 momentarily both ways as a near steal off the feed from Quinones. Tommy Morrissey, Rod Dixon, Brooke Wells, your officials this evening. Ellis, Quinones, Nolly, Williams, Cisse, the starting 5 for Penny Hardaway's crew.
Well, Landers Nolly got off to a hot start in their first matchup in the NIT, knocking down his first couple of threes. But it's more Boise State getting it done from beyond the arc, getting off to a hot start just like they did last Thursday against SMU.
It's Dutree for 3 and an answer right back as Boogie Ellis equals it out at 3 apiece.
It took Boogie Ellis about 30 minutes of game action in their first round matchup to even get on the board. So encouraging sign for Coach Hardaway and his group to see Boogie Ellis getting off to a great start. Has been shooting a hot basketball as of late.
Straight on three, that's good. So Emmanuel Acott drills one from deep.
You know, speaking of shooting a hot basketball, Acott knocked down 5 3-pointers in that matchup against SMU last time out. So he is liking playing in Texas right now, shooting the basketball really well. And you can see Boise confident on the offensive end of the floor to start the game.
Nolly gets the bad luck roll. And a possession for the Broncos. The drive and the finish by Dutre.
You know, we talked about the Memphis defense, but Memphis did allow 50% from the field versus Dayton in their first matchup, but they got so many more opportunities. If Penny Hardaway wants to get 70 field goal attempts in a game and wants to have 20 assists, well, they had 64 field goal attempts and 18 assists and got a win over a tough Dayton Flyers team.
Ellis off the miss. Dutrieve in the lane. Armouche in the post.
You can see Armouche got the attention of Penny Hardaway. The double team coming when he catches the ball in the post area.
Acott wheeling and dealing. Missed the three. The rebound taken by Cisse. DeAndre Williams lost the grip for a second in the lane. Flips it up at the rim. Off. Moussa Cisse is fouled.
And that's where the Memphis Tigers can flex their muscle, is on the offensive glass. Coach Rice talked to us about the fact that his team had to be able to compete on the glass and not turn the basketball over. Where you see early in the game, Moussa Cisse attacking the offensive board, giving his team another opportunity. However, getting to the free throw line, this is not Moussa Cisse's strength, where he's shooting in the low 30s on the season.
Had a tough time last Saturday in the first round matchup for Memphis against Dayton. It was an 11-point win, but Memphis did not do themselves any favors at the free throw line as the foul charged to Acott. And Cisse still can't get it going from the line.
And that becomes an empty trip for Memphis when you get to the free throw line and you walk away empty. And again, it does put a foul on the side of Boise.
Alston had an easy layup attempt there. Was a little contested, but he was fouled, leading to the miss.
And a nice find from Dutre at the top of the key. Seeing Quinones with his head turn and finding Austin. Not much contact on that one. That's one where Derek Austin Jr. needs to be able to finish that. Was bailed out with the call.
Knocks down the first. What a story it's been for Derek Alston Jr. Arrived in Boise at 148 pounds, but Corey, he has added some beef there.
I'm not going to call it beef. He has put on some pounds, but I'm not going to call it beef. He still has a long way to go, but young man who has an NBA future. Talk about his father, Derek Sr., who I actually played against in the NBA when he was with the Philadelphia 76ers. But Dad was definitely a much stronger stature, but I'm not sure if he was quite as skilled as his son is, who gets out blocking a shot.
Williams, the feed. Ball is three, no good. Missed the rim, out of bounds. It will go over to the Broncos, who are in the middle of a 7-0 run here to lead it by 7, 10-3.
Yeah, we talked with Coach Rice yesterday, and he was talking about their injury to Abu Kajab, who's out for the remainder of the season. Now they play 4 guards. But what he didn't mention was the fact that 2 of those 4 guards are 6'8" and 6'9". So again, it's still not a small lineup for Boise, to say the least. But definitely guys who can fill it up from the perimeter.
There's some wingspan in this game for sure. Into Armouche, and he loses the ball. And Malcolm Dandridge fumbles it away. It'll go back over to Boise State.
And that's one of the areas of concern for Penny Hardaway. His team will turn you over, but the problem is they give it right back. On the season, 402 assists to 400 turnovers, so they don't always take advantage of when they get those extra opportunities by turning the team over on the defensive end.
Baseline attack, scoop layup is good.
Well, that finish was much more difficult than the first finish Derek Austin Jr. had, but that way making good on it. And you just see the skill, 6'9", but a perimeter player ability to get the ball on the floor as well as finish at the rim.
9-0 run. Dandridge tried to feed it inside, easy steal.
But Derek, the reason why that was easy is because you see the wingspan of Derek Austin Jr., who just stood there, put his hands up, and came up with the steal. And a new possession for Boise, was unable to capitalize with the three.
Back the other way, Damian Ball with the layup to end the 9-0 run for Boise State. It's a 12-5 game approaching 5 minutes in first half.
That's the tempo that Memphis wants to play. They want to be able to get out in transition off of their stops and put pressure on the defense of Boise to get back down the floor and create a wall, keeping them away from the basket.
Acott again. Got it. Largest lead of the game for the Broncos. DJ Jeffries into Dandridge, who throws it down.
Nice play by Jeffries attacking the paint. And when you think about size on the perimeter, both these teams have it. DJ Jeffries about 6'7" on the perimeter, getting things done, and now coming up with the stop on the defensive end of the floor.
Williams, the feed to Nolly, connects. And just like that, the Memphis defense turning into offense, the lead down to 5.
Memphis turning defense into offense. However, on the offensive end of the floor, DJ Jeffries with a nice find to Dandridge, who finishes it off. Memphis still trails by 5.
Exclusive presentation of the NIT is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. March has certainly been a marathon for Boise State. These pictures are from the team's quarantine in Las Vegas following their loss in the Mountain West tournament. Couldn't keep them off the hotel basketball court, though. They left Boise for Vegas on March 9th, remained in Vegas until traveling to Dallas for their NIT opener last week against SMU. They returned home following the game with SMU, but traveled back to Texas on Tuesday and are obviously hoping to stay a little longer in the Lone Star State.
We had an opportunity to talk with Coach Rice yesterday, and just getting away and getting back home, refreshing, recharging the batteries, and then being able to come back. He was positive that this would have a great effect on him, but he was really surprised of the start they got off to against SMU. He was told by a coaching friend that the longer you're on the road, by each day you get worse, and he was scared of what the product was going to be on the court last Thursday, but extremely surprised by the 13-9 start for his team that they held on to for a 1-point win over SMU.
Great start for them in that one, and a pretty good start for them in this one, but Memphis fighting back as DJ Jeffries cuts it to a 3-point game.
And great execution. You love that as a coach, coming out of the timeout, getting exactly what you were looking for, getting Jeffries an opportunity on the block. He's going to have a mismatch. Playing the 2-guard position, he's going to be bigger than most guys on the opponent's team.
Ball lost that one. Not sure who he was trying to go to there, but easy steal for Alston. And now a jump ball called for.
And DJ Jeffries just taking advantage of his size, but Penny Hardaway recognizing they were going to have a smaller defender guarding Jeffries, coming out of the timeout, going immediately to Jeffries in the post area, getting him an easy look. And we saw against Dayton, after Jeffries knocked down a 2, he got much better on the perimeter, starting to knock down jump shots.
Lucas Milner lost that ball off his leg, a turnover, and back over to the Tigers. Well, Corey, the one thing that Memphis has in their back pocket, of course, is that defense, so they can withstand a slow start. They've got to take better care of the basketball.
Well, that's been an issue for them all season long. They just got back into a positive assist-to-turnover ratio. I mentioned the numbers before, 402 to 400, but that was after an 18 assist to 10 turnover effort versus Dayton. So they were in the negative before their last game coming into the NIT. But Penny Hardaway, liking the way that his team is playing right now, feels as though they're getting things together. And you see Coach Hardaway on the court encouraging his guy, Lester Quinones, who was huge for his team against Dayton in the second half of that game, scoring all 15 of his points. And he's a guy that hasn't really gotten off to much of an offensive start here today, but he often saves his best for last.
First foul on Dutrieve. Just the team's second. And Corey, you hit the nail on the head there. I mean, Quinones was a monster in that game against Dayton on Saturday. Was 3 of 3 from deep and a perfect 5 for 5 overall in the second half from the field. Williams hits from the elbow.
But you've seen the defensive energy and effort of the Memphis Tigers pick up, and their offense has been able to benefit from that. Now you're talking about a 1-point game, which was a 10-point lead. So right now it's Memphis on a 9-0 run.
And that has really stunted Boise State's progress.
Now DeAndre Williams, with his size, still the ability to play off the dribble. Austin matched him in size, but Williams still with the big bucket.
Have one NIT championship to their credit, and that came back in 2002. Coach Cal's squad took care of South Carolina 72-62 to earn the title, as sophomore Earl Barron scored a career-high 25 points, and freshman DeJuan Wagner added 16 points in the victory. Wagner was also named the tournament MVP. Some pretty good talent on that team, Corey.
It really was, and that was the resurgence of Memphis when you consider that was the second year of John Calipari coming to Memphis. But from that point on, you start seeing Memphis as a perennial NCAA tournament member, and of course making it to the national championship game in 2008 behind CDR and Derrick Rose.
Ray J. Dennis getting going to stop that Memphis run. It's a 3-point lead for the Broncos. Ellis with the feed in the corner. 3 for Nolly, misses. Quinones battling. And a foul. And he has done that a lot. You know, he mixed it up a great deal on Saturday, Corey, in that win against Dayton.
Well, and he's the guy, is really like their glue guy. When you consider what he does, making buckets, but coming up with big opportunities on the offensive glass as well, and gaining extra opportunities for his team. He does pretty much anything that Coach Hardaway needs for him to do throughout the stint of a game, and that's the reason why he's the only Memphis Tiger who started every game this season. And so when you think about the trust that Penny Hardaway puts into Lester Quinones, that's the reason why. He knows that he's going to be consistent and give him that same effort on a nightly basis.
First foul against Shaver. And the lead for Boise State down to 1. The lob there, that looked like it was going to be a pass. Instead, off the rim, loose in the lane, and this will be Memphis basketball.
But one
it looked like Dennis had one of his feet on the baseline.
But what you see from Memphis is they switch their defenses constantly. Penny Hardaway doesn't give you the same look, and actually 2 players with their feet on the baseline. However, depend upon who was touching the basketball. And it goes back to Memphis wearing the throwback uniforms with the Memphis State on the front, like when Penny was playing in Memphis.
Love that look. Williams for 3. So DeAndre Williams giving Memphis a lead of a pair at 19-17.
A great ball movement by the Tigers early in this game. And already 4 assists for Memphis as they take on the personality of their leader, who was a great assist guy, great passer, and he is about sharing the basketball. He wants his team to share the ball, always looking for the best shot, but then change defensively and come with different looks. You see, once again, extending that zone pressure in the half court, making it difficult for Boise to run any offense.
And that sharing of the basketball has led to 7 of 8 Memphis players scoring in this game. Dennis down low. And hitting the deck hard is Alston. And he is shaken up.
But it's simply a result of Alston going with his force, and then Musa Cisse meeting him at the summit. And you hate to see Alston on the ground. And hopefully that's a scenario where it really just scared him more so than he's hurt. You see Alston getting up to delight the crowd, a little limp walking away. But that's really more so, and when you go through this in live action, it's more so about you don't know that how you're going to fall. He falls on that tailbone. But a clean play, just a difficult position to have your body in with all your force going to the rim when you're met with resistance, unable to catch your balance. I can't see anything of malintent on that play, even though the officials may review it. There's my guy, the big fella, Derek Austin Sr. Big-time shot blocker, one of the best to ever play at Duquesne. I guess Tim Legler would probably be saying, hey, Corey, don't forget about me. So he's one of those guys, too. But
he's a head coach now with the Westchester Knicks of the NBA G League. Former 76er as well.
That Derek Austin Jr. gets up, walks off the floor, goes and gets on the bike, but doesn't take his free throws. I'm taking those free throws, D. I got to get those 2 points behind my name. Because I believe
you got to get those numbers up, man. Come on.
Yeah, I believe if he doesn't shoot them, the opposing team gets to choose who shoots the free throws. Am I correct on that, Derek?
I thought that was the case. Now, we'll have to see what the thought process was there, but nonetheless, it's a tie game at 19.
Maybe it's your team can choose who. I've got a bunch of official friends out there. I know somebody's watching. They can text me the answer on that as Landon Nolly shoots that wide left. And Nolly off to a slow start after leading Memphis in scoring with 21 on Saturday. Only 3 points for Nolly thus far. 1 for 5 from the field, 1 for 4 from three-point range.
19 all as Dennis, having trouble with the handle, tried to throw it off of Ellis. Can't keep it in. Ellis for 3, short. Shaver on the run now. Armouche. Good movement. 3 though from Dutrieve, miss it. And that ball airmailed out of bounds. Back over to Boise State.
Another self-inflicted wound by the Memphis Tigers. But this game has changed. The complexion of it has changed with the half-court pressure that Penny Hardaway has put on Boise. He is meeting the Boise ball handler at half-court with a trap. And Boise struggled to handle that right now. We talk about a game that was 15-5 lead for Boise, and since then Memphis has tied it up, but they've been able to do it with their defense.
And Emmanuel Acott is going to get called for an illegal screen.
And it's just simple. If you're going to set a screen, you have to come to a stop. Acott with the dribble handoff there, but never comes to a stop. Right in front of the official. Not much argument on that one.
So the turnover committed. And for Acott, that's number 2. 9 minutes left first half. And off the exchange, Looks like Shaver will be called for a foul. That's his second. So Acott and Shaver each with 2 now for Boise State.
And Boise thinking that's the same call, wanting that call. However, Williams did come to a stop going up to set that screen.
Ellis gets it to go.
Well, we've seen that action multiple times for Penny Hardaway right now, and taking Boogie Ellis, his smallest player, into the post area, but Ellis at 6'2", still able to go get a bucket on the block.
The AAC Sixth Man of the Year. And we'll get a foul here as the pressure picked up by Memphis.
And you see just a simple duck in. Memphis ran this play for DJ Jeffries earlier, and then they go back to it to Boogie Ellis, getting Ellis an easy look at the rim. And you appreciate that as a player when your coach gives you an opportunity, even as a guard. You know, of course, I go about 6'1", 6'2". You know, my opportunities to go play in the post, Derek, you get a big smile on your face, especially when you come away with a basket.
The feed from Armouche. And Alston is called for a travel.
The NBA influence into the game. As we see Derek Alston Jr. going all James Harden, and that's a travel in college basketball. In the NBA, you can get away with that. In college basketball, you cannot. Penny Hardaway right on top of that call as we see Boogie Ellis going back to the post area and getting another bucket. And Memphis has found something they're going to try to exploit against this Boise defense.
He's been a spark plug for this Memphis team at times, and you're seeing it here tonight. 4-point lead for Memphis. Good contest, but a little bit too good, according to the officials, on the drive attempt.
Memphis has found something, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Boogie Ellis going to work back-to-back possessions, getting it done on the block for the Memphis point guard.
Our NCAA Women's Basketball Championship Sweet 16 matchups for Saturday begin with a battle of superstar freshmen. Caitlin Clark leads Iowa against Paige Beckers in UConn at 1 Eastern on ABC, followed by Michigan and Baylor. Later on ESPN2, Indiana takes on North Carolina State, followed by Arizona versus Texas A&M. All games are also available on the ESPN app. The NIT is experimenting with technology in the bench area during this year's event. Each team can use one laptop or tablet in the bench area, and it's being fed by video from our broadcast, courtesy of DV Sport. The tablet can be used for live stats or video, but cannot be used to dispute a call on the floor. Corey, your thoughts on this?
I love it because, you know, one thing about today's game in comparison to when I played and when Penny played, the game is so much further advanced with scouting that any of these opportunities that you get to be able to help your team to get a defensive stop or to get a bucket on the offensive end, and we saw on the tablet Boise staff trying to find a way to see how is it that Boogie Ellis is getting into the post area. And what is it they can do to combat that, especially in the second half? But if you can make changes on the fly in a timeout, I think that only benefits the game, especially when you consider how far scouting has come in college basketball.
18-4 run for Memphis over the last 7 minutes plus. Jeffries. Williams with the kick out. Jeffries for 3. Rattled out. Armouche with the rebound. Alston thought about it. Ray J. Dennis to the rack. contested, and Dandridge there. Kick out for Williams. His three spins out over to Boise State.
But you got a glimpse as to why Memphis is so dangerous. Dandridge, who's playing the 5 position, got a rebound and pushed it 3 dribbles, getting it to Jeffries at 6'7" guard, who's able to push it and find Williams at 6'9", 3-4 in the corner. They don't make the shot, but even still, it just shows you how dangerous they are. And, you know, Coach Rice talked to us about how they're positionless, how they don't like to really define positions, you know, except for the center. They're playing 4 guards right now. And Memphis is very similar, especially without Alex Lomax in the lineup.
Oh, big break there for Boise State. Nolly able to nab the inbounds play, but the shot over the backboard, and now a possession for Boise State.
And Boise now with 8 turnovers, so the plan is working for Memphis. However, they're really not taking advantage off of all those turnovers. They do have, you know, 10 points off turnovers in this game, but there are so many opportunities that the Tigers have missed. This could be a much bigger lead for Penny Hardaway's team here in this first half if they take advantage of a number of those, more of those opportunities they've gotten off of turnovers.
That's the second foul on Williams, so foul trouble plaguing both teams. The field goal drought continuing here for Boise State. They'll try to break it. Armouche working and a travel.
But the luxury that the Tigers have by being able to guard Armouche without double teaming and allowing Moussa Cisse to guard him one-on-one, and then you see DJ Jeffries coming up with the late help, but forcing the 9th turnover for Boise State.
At one point out of that media timeout, 7 turnovers, 6 field goals for Boise State. But a steal here, Alston ahead of the pack, lays it in. A 2-point lead now for Memphis.
Boise taking a page out of the Memphis book, turning defense into offense, fast break points off of those turnovers.
Jeffries can't get that roll. We've seen that a few times on that rim for Memphis.
Yeah, that's one that you want back, though. That was a chippy that he gave away, but another turnover for Boise, and turns into points off turnovers for Memphis as Ball is able to get out in the passing lane. And what Penny Hardaway has done defensively here as this first half has gone on has been spectacular. His team is locked in on the defensive end of the floor and getting their hand on the basketball, getting them multiple opportunities on the offensive end of the floor. Memphis already with 23 field goal attempts to only 14 for Boise State. Even if you don't shoot a better percentage, you get more shots, you're giving yourself a chance to win.
Najee Smith with that goaltend heading out. 4-point lead for Memphis NIT quarterfinal round. The winner advances to the semifinals on Saturday. Alston Jr. The offensive rebound by Shaver. Fades away, can't hit, and a foul, and we'll go the other way.
And you see whenever there are 2 hands in the back, that's going to get called 10 times out of 10. And right there, Cisse able to make the call knowing he got pushed. Otherwise, he's coming up with that rebound.
One of the storylines in this game certainly will be offensive rebounds. The first just collected by Boise State. Memphis was just all over Dayton as Jeffries hits that jumper. They at one point collected 16 straight offensive rebounds heading into half 2 as we get a player control foul. Acott extending that arm.
And that's going to be 3 on Acott. Coach Rice trusting Acott to bring him back in the game, but his ball handling allows him to bring it up against the defense. But you see the push off, that right arm immediately when you extend it, as he does, and give Ball credit for selling it. But Acott does extend the right forearm, which picks him that 3rd foul up here in this first half.
That was not quite subtle for somebody with 2 fouls as Cisse tries to keep it alive. Can't. Boise State basketball. And that, as you take a look at this game, Cisse certainly one of the key figures, but Boise State has to try to get some second chance points in this game, considering how stingy Memphis is defensively. Dutrieve, got it.
And that's a nice individual play by Dutrieve, but Memphis will live with that. If you just go out and make a great individual play against their very good defense, they'll live with that because they feel like they can get buckets on the other end of the floor. But more often than not, you're not going to be able to make a great individual play against these group of defenders.
Dutrieve leading the Broncos in scoring in this first half. Alston Jr. for three. That's off. Ellis with a board. Shake and bake in the lane. Spinning, lost the ball. Shamer all the way in, gets knocked to the floor. And Jeffries will pick up the foul for Memphis.
Well, if Memphis gives up a bucket, one thing you can rest assured, they're coming back at you on the other end of the floor. Boogie Ellis going off glass to give the Tigers the 6-point lead. Coach Greenberg, if you're coming back to coach, I'm transferring because you will let me shoot it as much as I want. So therefore, you come back to coach, I got 1 year eligibility left. I'm coming back. And speaking of coaches, our guy, Tony Madlock, assistant coach for Memphis, has accepted the job at South Carolina State as the head coach. He accepted the job today, so he will remain with the team, hopefully through what Penny Hardaway feels will be a NIT championship, and then he will head to South Carolina and become a part of the MEAC.
5-point lead for Memphis, and certainly congratulations to Coach Madlock, and been a part of the success here at Memphis over the last few years with Coach Hardaway.
And also a teammate of Penny Hardaway in Memphis back in 1992 when the Tigers went to the Elite Eight as Memphis State, as they're rocking the throwback uniforms here today. And I tell you this, Derek, you know, one of the things, how cool is it to be a coach with your own shoe? I mean, again, you know, one of the things that Memphis has on their, you know, they don't have it on these throwback uniforms, but they have it on their practice uniforms. You know, a lot of their gear is the 1 cent logo, which is, of course, a Nike logo for Penny Hardaway, who has, in my opinion, the second most popular signature shoe of any professional basketball player. Of course, we know Jordans are one, but the Penny shoes have been best sellers for a very long time. In something that I'm sure as we get an opportunity to see the guys who have T-shirts on, DJ Jeffries, and what I saw Boogie Ellis earlier, they have the 1 cent logo on the sleeve.
Hey, and there have been a lot of great basketball shoes, well, a lot of shoes just in general over the years where you said, you're right, number one, it's hard to go against the Jordans, but yeah, the Penny Hardaway sneakers, top notch.
And you see the 1 cent logo, and I talked with Penny about this at Peach Jam a couple years ago, and he said, hey, it's on the front of all of our practice uniforms. You know, our guys are going to get pennies, you know, so we're going to use it. It's not something that he shies away from. And, of course, no one would, especially when there was a little penny selling all the shoes for you.
Little penny commercials, so clutch. A steal. Hanging in the air, but we'll get a player control foul. on Ellis, sending things the other way as foul trouble continuing to mount for both sides. Cisse, by the way, recently picking up his second for Memphis.
And Boogie Ellis, really no need for the push-off. Wasn't going to get his shot blocked. And ends up with another turnover for the Tigers. And Memphis hasn't handled the basketball great themselves. They have 9 turnovers here in this first half, but Boise with 12 turnovers is above their season average, only averaging 11.6 a game coming into this one.
Tough layup attempt for Baugh. An Armush rebound. Alston has his lane cut off. Smith harassed. Dennis for 3. That's off. Approaching 2 minutes left to go. And half one and a 5-point lead for Memphis, as that defense of Memphis really forcing some tough looks here for the Broncos.
It really is, Derek. And right now, Boise playing a bit helter-skelter on the offensive end of the floor.
Loose. Smith rolls it ahead. Alston Jr. can't quite get to it. And now a jump ball will be called. And Memphis will retain possession.
And I can tell you right now, if Boise wins this game and continues on to play, that will be a play that Coach Leon Rice will show Derek Alston Jr. tomorrow. Because Dandridge got on the floor and Alston didn't. He reached for the basketball. And in a win or go home scenario, that's a play where you've got to match the aggressiveness of your team. Get on the floor after that loose ball, try to get that possession.
Straight ahead 3 rims out from Jaden Hardaway, son of head coach Penny Hardaway. Still at a 5-point lead. Alston stripped and now on the move. It's a 4-on-2, but a turnover as Dennis is able to take it away. 3-on-1, Armush slows it down. Saying hello to the family out in Serbia with that one.
Right now, it's a 12-7 points off turnovers advantage for Memphis. But if there's one area that the Tigers look back at and see why they don't have a bigger lead if they don't going into the halftime locker room, it's because they have not taken advantage of those opportunities. 13 turnovers already for Boise for 12 points, not enough for Penny Hardaway's team.
Jeffries with a shot clock winding down. It's a Hardaway offensive rebound in the new possession for the Tigers. And we'll get a timeout here called by Memphis. 3-point lead for Memphis, NIT quarterfinal. More to come in a moment. The NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship continues Saturday with Sweet 16 matchups. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Fans taking in this one from the campus of the University of North Texas, the Super Pit, as it's known. Derek Jones and Corey Alexander with you as leaning in for the bucket is Nolly.
Anders Nolly getting his second basket here of the first half.
Well, what a block by Baugh. Milner could not throw it down.
And that's a mistake. Clock management by Boise. And I understand wanting to be aggressive against the press, but you give Memphis the basketball back with an opportunity to build on the lead going into halftime.
Nolly, jumper at the buzzer, can't get it to go. But Memphis using that defense to erase a 15-5 lead. It's a 31-26 lead at the half. We'll take you to Kevin Connors, Seth Greenberg, and Sean Farnham in the studio. Take it away, gentlemen. State by 5, 31-26. Derek Jones and Corey Alexander with you this evening. And Corey, Memphis so far this season, when they lead at halftime, they are 15-4 this season. What have you seen out of the first 20 minutes between these two squads?
Well, I believe that Penny Hardaway got exactly what he wanted defensively from his team in the first half. And Leon Rice got off to a great start with his group coming out knocking down threes. But when you consider the fact that both these teams have a combined 23 turnovers, it's been inefficient to say the least offensively in this first half. But Memphis only 12 points off those 13 turnovers for Boise. And that is really where the difference has been. A 5-point advantage in points off turnovers and a 5-point advantage in this game, which is now 2 after Boise knocks down the 3 to start off the second half.
An NBA 3 from Marcus Shaver to get going for Boise State. They turned the basketball over 13 times, as you mentioned, in that first half, Corey. Their season average is 12. So a 3 there by Quinones as he tries to deliver his second half magic again.
Yeah, Quinones scored all 15 of his points against Dayton in the second half and knocked down 3 3-pointers along the way. So when you think about he saves his best for last and off to a great start here in this second half. Nice find, making the extra pass. Boogie Ellis with the penetration. But Quinones, who likes to play the air guitar after every shot. I think that's an air guitar, Derek. Or he's playing it kind of on the side. It may be like a what's the big one that stands on the ground? A bass?
Yeah, kind of. I was terrible in elementary school with instruments, so I'm the wrong guy to ask.
Bother asking you.
I played the recorder when I was in elementary school. There was an inadvertent clock stoppage here that is leading to the delay in my discussion of recorders on the air.
By the way, everyone played the recorder in elementary school. It was required.
That's my point. I had zero musical talent. But here for Memphis, trying to obviously use that defense to their best ability to turn over Boise again in a situation where Boise State, as we said, the 13 turnovers in the first half, well off of their pace, but also, too, not near the start that we saw from them in the SMU game.
But they did get out to a 15-5 lead early in this game, right, until they couldn't hang on to the basketball anymore. And when you look at the game thus far, Memphis has 7 more opportunities from the field and is shooting 45.2%. So when you think about, the fact that they're just getting more opportunities is going to give them a better chance to win this game in a 5-point lead right now. But I'm sure that's something that Coach Rice talked with his team about at halftime, is how they need to attack this, especially the half-court pressure, not necessarily the full-court pressure, but the half-court pressure of Memphis to make sure they get quality looks on the offensive end of the floor.
Corey, I have received confirmation from our research staff that is a base. It's essentially it's a double base or a standing base, whatever you prefer.
So me with no music knowledge told you that it was a base. But yet, you would not co-sign with me on that. I see where we are right now, Derek. I understand our relationship has been strained, to say the least.
No, I want you to look at this as my musical knowledge as far as playing instruments goes it's less than 0. The runner missed, tipped back outside. As Nolly on the move.
Landers Nolly, as we saw in the end of the first half, losing the headband. Now, he did this in their game on Saturday versus Dayton. He lost the headband, but he started the second half with the headband back on. But hasn't shot the basketball well today, so Nolly leaving the headband in the halftime locker room, hoping that's going to affect his shooting on the offensive end.
3 fouls now against Cisse, a minute in to the second half. Double team there along the baseline, and Dutrieve calls a timeout. So we'll take a step out as well. More from Denton in a moment with Memphis up by 5.
Derek, I have to make a correction. I called out a previous statement when I was talking about Derek Austin Jr. and Tim Legler would take offense to that. Tim Legler actually played at LaSalle, not Duquesne. So I can say Derek Austin Jr. may be the best player to ever come out of Duquesne. And when you think about guys who were the best, getting it done on the court and now coaching at their alma mater, Penny Hardaway right there on my first team. When you think about Penny Hardaway, of course, Aaron McKee at Temple, Anthony Grant at Dayton, who Penny Hardaway beat in the first round of the NIT, and then Juwan Howard and Patrick Ewing in the front court of that group. And right now, I told Penny Hardaway and I told Anthony Grant last week, I could win with that team. No question about it. If I get to coach that team, I am winning. I'm getting the ring. We're already measuring for the ring right there, Derek.
That's a tough list, too. There are 35 players / now head coaches who fall under that distinction of now coaching at their alma mater. And, you guys like Mitch Henderson in the mix as well from Princeton. But so it's a tough list to kind of decipher who to pick and all that. So a very, very tough job for you.
Well, yeah, that was my list. And, of course, I struggled with Lavelle Moulton at North Carolina Central, who was probably the biggest scorer not in that starting lineup. But Michael Huger as well as Bowling Green, Jamie Dixon at TCU, and Matt Painter at Purdue. Those are my bench guys. But, of course, with 35, you can't pick but so many. You can only play 5 at a time. Yes. I think I picked a pretty good group.
Oh, for sure. Moussa Cisse. And Corey, he is no stranger to playing with some up front and high-profile low-post players.
Yeah, I actually shared the front court with Kofi Coburn, who was a star at Illinois all season long. And you can only imagine trying to get a shot off in the paint with those two big guys had to be a tough task when they were together at Christ the King back in 2018.
Cisse has a wingspan, by the way, of 9'4". That's pretty sizable. That previous foul, by the way, charged to Armouche.
Yeah, Moussa Cisse should be a senior in high school right now. He actually reclassed up and skipped a year of high school to join the Memphis Tigers. He was actually in the class of 2021 to come out of high school. So learning on the fly for Moussa Cisse.
Battling as Williams and company can't get it done. There's an injured Broncos player down back behind the play.
But I love watching guys get up from injury and come back. I was almost thinking he was going to shoot that because when you can't get back into the play, but then you come up with the shot.
Shaver for 3.
Fortunately for Boise State, it's Shaver who shoots in comparison to Dutrieve, who was injured and got back into the play. But the 3 from Shaver ties the game at 34.
Just about 3 minutes in, half 2. Into Quinones. Lost the grip for a moment. Going against Dutrieve. Cisse. Foul on the floor. That bucket will not count.
And Boise State handling the pressure and seeing out of the trap the skip pass. Puts Shaver in a nice rhythm to step up and knock down his second three-pointer here of the second half to tie this game at 34.
Last foul charged to Armouche. It's his second. In is Williams. He can't connect on that one. Tipped out of bounds, and it'll go over to the Broncos. First ever meeting between these two programs. In the NIT quarterfinal round, the winner goes on to the semifinals, which take place on Saturday. The Rams of Colorado State await the winner of this one.
Of course, Colorado State, a Mountain West Conference member, as is Boise. So if those two teams get together, as Akot knocks down the turnaround jumper, he's been very good here in the second half. You have to remember he's playing with 3 fouls, but if Boise's able to move on, those two teams have a lot of familiarity with each other.
Aycott, the only player in this game in double figures in scoring. Straight ahead jumper, that one missing. It's a 7-0 run for the Broncos, who lead it by 2. Shaver lost the ball out of bounds, back over to Memphis State. 36-34 lead for Boise State. Memphis trying to regain the lead when we come back. Let's flash you back to the 92 NIT. Corey Alexander. Corey, what do you got going on here?
How they leave that guy open in the corner, Derek. I don't understand how they left him open. That's knockdown. But my man Brian Stiff putting Elmer Bennett on his back with the in and out and the finish. And the opportunity to play and win in the 1992 NIT championship is a memory that I have with my teammates. We still talk about it. We still celebrate it. But when you think about it, is it a good omen? Well, my teams went to the NCAA tournament for the next 3 years, and that's been the same omen for the Memphis Tigers. When they advanced to the NIT semifinals in 2005, you look at what they were able to do from 2006 to 2009 under John Calipari, and then 2010 NIT appearance under Josh Pastner. After that, 4 straight NCAA tournament appearances. For Penny Hardaway, this is an opportunity to be able to build on this with younger players and hopefully a core that he will have back next year and be dancing once again.
Aycott with the ball off the miss. 2-point lead for the Broncos. Step back. Shaver can't hit. A loose ball over to Memphis. Ball.
You know, I'd have to mention, of course, I believe that Penny Hardaway. Oh, wait a minute.
DeAndre Williams with the follow.
But I do believe that Penny Hardaway's team would have been an NCAA tournament participant in 2020. Of course, there was no tournament due to COVID. But I believe that his Memphis team would have been in the field of 68 a year ago. And unfair to Coach Hardaway, you know, as well as Anthony Grant. You know, we talked about this in their game on Saturday. Both those teams had a great chance a season ago and didn't get an opportunity to take advantage of it.
Armouche down low in the lane. Lead back to Boise State.
And Armouche did the majority of his damage in their matchup last Thursday versus SMU in the second half. Boise will need him to have another big second half if they want to advance to the semifinals on Saturday.
Dandridge. 7 to shoot for Nolly. Contested J, just a little bit off. Aycott down the floor to Armouche. That gets intercepted by Williams. Williams working the baseline. Ball now will slow it down.
Smart play by Ball, recognizing there was nothing there for Memphis.
Nolly just can't get that one to go. He's had some tough bounces tonight.
Yeah, he struggled from the field tonight. 2 for 9 from the field and only 1 for 4 from 3 right now. And you're talking about a young man who went for 20 on Saturday over Dayton. So I'm sure was expecting to come in and have a much better offensive production, but he's done the job defensively, regardless of the way he shot the basketball.
Alston at the rim was fouled. We'll see if he ends up going to the striker. I don't believe he will. That may have been called on the floor.
This is the third game that Boise's played against a American Athletic Conference opponent. They played Houston to open the season, and in that game, Derek Alston Jr. was 0 for 6 from the field, scoreless in 32 minutes. And then he had 13 points against SMU in their first round win. So I'm sure he was looking forward to this matchup against Memphis to erase the bad taste he had in his mouth from the earlier matchup against Houston.
Oh, that's against Williams as Aycott hits the deck.
And give Aycott a lot of credit for the way that he's played, especially defensively here in the second half with 3 fouls, but he has not lost any of his aggressiveness on the offensive end or the defensive end. Does a great job going down, and oftentimes you'll see players, especially in the post area, they want to bump once or twice and then they'll decide to take the charge on the second or third hit. But Acott, anticipating he was going to get hit, goes down and draws the charge in the post.
Number 4 on Williams, so we may not see him for quite some time.
And that's a big loss. Williams, one of the most versatile players for this Memphis group. That we talk about positionless basketball, they're right at the top of that when you consider so many different guys handle the basketball and make plays, but Williams is definitely one of their better playmakers.
Ray J. Dennis to the rim, contested. Quinones will survey the situation with the Tigers down by 2. Jeffries going at Milner, lays it in.
Nice patience by DJ Jeffries, recognizing that no one was leaving the shooters on the perimeter, pivoting and pivoting once again, finding the easy layup to make it a tie game once again.
Dennis outside 3. That missing out of the hands of Acott. Loose ball out of bounds, stays with Boise State. Tie game at 38. More to come from Denton, Texas in the NIT quarterfinal in a moment. The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship Sweet 16 begins Saturday on CBS and TBS, or you can stream games on the March Madness Live app. For more information on game times and networks, go to ncaa.com. Should be an exciting weekend of action in the NCAA tournament, ramping back up this weekend. Meanwhile, in the NIT, the quarterfinals taking place tonight. We've seen some closely contested ball games. The winner of this game will take on Colorado State. Meanwhile, Western Kentucky and Louisiana Tech already in progress, Corey.
Well, when you consider the NIT and how important it is for coaches and players to be able to continue playing basketball and, more importantly, win a championship, which is something very few teams have the opportunity to do. Colorado State, Mississippi State finding themselves already in the semis. And Memphis and Boise right now locked at 38, trying to get to the same spot.
The 3 missing, and the offensive rebound, a rare one, grabbed by the Broncos. Acott, crossover. Can't finish. It's Boogie Ellis with the carom. Talking about experience, out of all the teams left in the NIT and the NCAA tournament field, this is the youngest, according to KenPom.com. Just over a year on average in experience on this Memphis team.
You know, and that's, to me, that's a skewed argument. And the reason I say that, DeAndre Williams is 24 years old. So, again, I can't imagine how you could have one of the least experienced teams still playing basketball when you consider the NIT and the NCAA. And you've got one guy who's 24. And, again, nothing against DeAndre Williams. Again, you know, everyone's path is different. But a 24-year-old on your team, and you've got one of the least experienced teams, something just doesn't seem right about that.
The jumper by Jeffries gives Memphis a lead back at 2, 40-38. Ooh, fans were calling for a little bit of a travel there by Alston when he was loading up for the 3. He misses nonetheless. Memphis trying to collect themselves. It's been a struggle here offensively. A lot of one-and-dones here in half 2. Jeffries and a defensive board, but first a foul before we get to that point.
I believe they're going to get Alston for pushing in the back, going in, trying to secure a rebound. As you see that That foul was on Dennis. Okay, I was about to say, because it doesn't look like Austin did much of anything to deserve that foul. But Dennis was the one who picked it up coming in, as Boogie Ellis now going off the bounce. But you see, when Memphis is able to score, they're also able to set up their full court defense. And they were able to keep Boise off balance the entire first half with the trapping, with the pressure resulting in a foul on this possession.
So Ellis with that long two, but then picks up the foul on the other end. That's his second foul. Team foul number 4 on Memphis. Under 10 left to go. Half 2. Austin leading in, and that will not count. But in the act of trying to get something done there at the rim, but a foul first.
I like the aggressiveness of Derek Austin Jr., not settling for the jumper, but at 6'9", putting it on the floor, attacking the basket as you see Dad looking on. They wanted that one to go, but getting an opportunity to get to the free throw line and put points on the board. Now it's Austin with 7 points. And you got to love it when the parents show up with the picture on the T-shirt. Yeah. I mean, you can't beat that. And Austin, who was, All-American caliber player this year, preseason Mountain West Conference Player of the Year, and what will go down in history as one of the best to wear the Boise State uniform alongside Chandler Hutchinson, who was traded today to the Washington Wizards. So he's got a new home, no longer will be in Chicago. And, of course, my man Chris Childs, one of the best to ever do it.
Still stays in touch with the program as Jeffries going at Armouche, and a foul. Going back to Austin for a moment, he actually removed his name from the 2020 NBA draft and returned to Boise State because he thought that there was unfinished business for him and the team, and he's got an opportunity here to lead this team to an NIT championship.
Well, and you think about, Austin and his ability to play on the wing, and it's guys like Penny Hardaway who made it okay for a 6'7" guy to play the point guard position, to have guys who are 6'9" on the wing. Of course, Magic Johnson at 6'9", the innovator. But I can tell you, Penny Hardaway not the only great class of 93 point guard in the Dallas area right now. Just got a text from my guy, Mr. Van Excellence himself. Van Excellence Realty, by the way, Nick Van Exel, my dude, the lefty, who is living in the Dallas area, and we get an opportunity to look at the numbers for Penny Hardaway, what he did at Memphis from 1990 to 1993. But you can say, you go back to that 1993 draft, Nick Van Exel, pretty close to what Penny Hardaway was able to do for a much longer time in the NBA.
Austin can't get it to drop. It's a run out for Memphis. Quinones gets fouled, and that will obviously give Boise State an opportunity here with another possession and a chance to cut into this deficit. And they have to be careful, by the way. Armouche has 3 fouls, so that's something to track here as Dutrieve picks up his second. This game, score-wise, this is in the wheelhouse of Memphis and what they can do to you from the defensive standpoint. Nolly for 3. That's no good. Austin with a loose ball.
But that's a play where Austin is going sideways instead of going toward the rim. And Boise fortunate to be able to get an offensive rebound, but I would love to see Derek Austin Jr. more aggressive in transition, not allowing Memphis to get their defense set.
Acott too strong, ball rebound.
And right now there's a mismatch. Penny Hardaway trying to get everybody out of the way. Moose guarding Boogie Ellis, and Ellis going to the sidestep jumper, settling In comparison to putting him in drive, that's a play where a point guard has to be able to get to the rim.
The scoop attempt by Shaver the other way. He wanted a foul, doesn't get it. As the Broncos continue their cold spell from the field. They've missed on 11 straight. 4-point lead for Memphis. In the lane, dropping it in.
But you can hear
DJ
Hardaway. You can hear Penny Hardaway on the sideline communicating to his team where they want to go as far as the mismatch is concerned, who they want to get the basketball in the hands of. On that possession, it was DJ Jeffries. He wanted him to attack the basket, but Dutrieve doing a great job getting back in transition. DJ Jeffries recognizing the mismatch, going to drive it and finish it. We've got a game here.
Basketball in the state of Tennessee and in Memphis. It doesn't get any better than this guy right here, Corey.
Memphis's favorite son, Penny Hardaway, born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee, and putting on for Memphis State back in the day before going on to a 14-year NBA career where he was 4 times an All-Star. But one of the better players of his generation, derailed by knee injuries. No question about that, but still an icon in the Memphis area and has his hand on so many of these young players when you think about what he was able to do at Memphis East High School and then Team Penny of the Nike EYBL before that, where for the last 10 to 15 years, Penny Hardaway has had some type of influence on pretty much every young player coming through the city of Memphis, Tennessee.
Of course, you go back to that game against Dayton, Jalen Crutcher, star for Dayton from Memphis, and had a great relationship with Penny Hardaway, one of the obviously better players to come out of Memphis in recent times. And as you alluded to, yes, he's, whether it's high school or college, he's had such an influence on so many players in the Memphis area.
But the Memphis defense was not kind to Crutcher. Held him to 6 points in that game, and they're doing the same thing with Derek Austin Jr. Only 7 points for Austin Jr. And this one as Quinones continues to play the air bass. We're not going to call it an air guitar. That's an air bass. He's playing it on the side, Derek.
Yes, we will make that clarification moving forward. The lead at 6, largest of the game for the Memphis Tigers. Derek Jones and Corey Alexander with you tonight, NIT quarterfinal. Memphis trying to make their way to the semis, and that is a wedgie.
There you go. You didn't know the base, but you know the wedgie. I was waiting on you. I wanted to see what you called that.
You've got to be up on your basketball vernacular with that. That's a gotta happen.
Absolutely correct. My guy Sean McDonough called it a neck ball during the ACC tournament. First time I've ever heard that. Hopefully the last.
Hardaway to the rack, hanging in the air and scoring. So
okay,
Jaden Hardaway in off the bench to add to the lead.
And here's some trivia for you. Okay, Jaden Hardaway wearing the number 1. Did his father have to give him permission to wear that and unretire that number?
Ooh.
No, that's a question. You got to answer it. Don't say, ooh, that's a question.
Well, I'm going to say yes.
Okay, you're wrong. Penny wore number 25 at Memphis. At the time, you could not wear the number 1. The number 3 was the lowest number you could wear. As Shaver knocks down another 3, where he has been the offense for Boise here in this second half, knocking down his 3rd three-pointer of the half. See, that was a little bit of a trivia question right there. I was waiting for you to
tripped
fall
me up
for
there for sure as Nolly knocks down the jumper. 7-point lead, 52-45. Leaning in is Acott, can't get it. Jeffries to Ball, lays it up and in off the window.
But we mentioned it in the first half. This is what makes Memphis so dangerous. Their ability for 5 guys often on the floor to be able to rebound and push the basketball. That time is Jeffries finding Ball, who gets the transition points and building the largest lead to 9. for the Memphis Tigers in this game.
Look at that bench point differential, 21-2. Armouche, beautifully done.
That is nice. Armouche with the great footwork in the paint, and that's how he was able to flex his muscle over SMU last Thursday. Hasn't gotten as many opportunities against this Memphis defense, but a beautiful play by Armouche getting the bucket.
The transfer from East Tennessee State.
Well, and 4 of the 5 starters for Boise are transfers. So Coach Leon Rice doing a great job in the transfer portal, which is going to be outrageous this year. Most likely will top over 1,000 players as we go along, and that's the new, that's the new recruiting in college basketball, similar to free agency.
And we'll get a timeout here called by Coach Hardaway. 7-point lead for Memphis.
And Jaden wearing Dad's NBA number, not the college number, going to the rack and flexing on the way back.
I got my team and it's all I need. I see them hating and it's fine by me. Fine by me. See them hating and it's fine by me.
Sports Center with Steve Levy and Kenny Mayne. Blazers in heat face-off in Miami with both teams trying to improve their playoff positioning. Plus, Tim Legler breaks down which of today's trades will be the most helpful come playoff time. And Sean Farnham has his eye on a #1 seed in trouble and the Cinderella team whose dance will continue this weekend. Sports Center next, right here on ESPN and the ESPN app. If you're just joining us, this has been quite the intriguing matchup. 54-47 lead for Memphis in the NIT Quarterfinals. It was a 5-point Memphis lead at halftime, but Corey, Boise State and their droughts has been problematic along with the bench scoring of Memphis.
It really has, and the turnovers have been an issue for Boise State as well. But you consider a 7-minute, 19-second drought between field goals in the second half. They did make some free throws in that stretch, but Memphis has been able to extend their lead simply because of their defense. Right now, Leon Rice trying to figure out a way to get some points on the board against this stingy Memphis defense. They've been able to get stops, but they just haven't been able to score often enough to put pressure on Memphis.
Alston. Good defense by Williams, who has 4 fouls. Armouche turns the other way and scores. So his back-to-the-back basket game has been pretty effective here.
And he was the answer for them last Thursday against SMU in the second half, and he's trying to be the answer once again, trailing by 5 here to the Memphis Tigers.
4 players in double figures now for Boise State. Nolly. Can't bank it home. Looking for a whistle there, did not get it.
And you see the double team.
Acott kick out. Alston 3. Got it.
But give Armouche credit. Because of what he's been able to do on the last couple of possessions on the offensive end of the floor, he is now commanding a double team and the respect from Penny Hardaway and this Memphis defense. Great job getting it out of the trap, and the 3 makes it a 2-point game as Boise's now on a 7-0 run over the last 2+ minutes.
Williams trying to get by Armouche. Blocked. And, a 2-on-1. But the whistle stops it because of the action on the other side of the floor.
But that had to be a foul or something, and of course we're in our homes watching it. But yeah, there had to be a foul or something underneath to be able to stop it, as you see the 2 players get mixed up. And we're going to have a double foul on Dutrieve and Quinones. But you're right, Derek, that stopped a great opportunity for Boise. So it ends up, even though it wasn't done intentionally, for Quinones, it ends up being a very smart play because he saved his team 2 points and Boise being able to tie this game up. That seemed to be a surefire bucket for Boise headed the other direction.
So that's 3 on Dutrieve, the Dallas, Texas native. As Acott back to it. Boise State can take a lead with a 3 or tie it up, and they can't, as Shaver does not get that one to drop home. Loose ball on a board for Memphis.
Shaver Gimpy coming back.
Two minutes left to go from Denton. Williams drops it in, and a foul as Cisse was about to go up with it. Again, free throw shooting could be a storyline late.
Well, you see Williams with the nice find to Moussa Cisse headed to the basket. But now you send Cisse to the free throw line where he has struggled all season long. And so that's a great foul if you're Boise.
1 and 1 off for Cisse and an Acott board. Memphis tonight from the line, 3 of 11. But they lead it by 2.
But you and I both know in close games in this scenario, you've got to be able to make free throws, and you've got to have a guy that can go get a bucket.
Armouche ties it at 54, and a timeout called by Memphis. 1:23 left to go. Another tight contest late. The NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship continues Saturday with Sweet 16 matchups. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. 54 all here, NIT quarterfinal. The winner goes on to play Colorado State on Saturday.
But Boise in the midst of a 9-0 run, 6 of those points by Armouche, and then the three-pointer by Derek Austin Jr. The turnover from Memphis now gives Boise an opportunity with 1:14 remaining to take a lead. And if you're Coach Leon Rice, you really have to appreciate the way that your team has responded after being down 9, coming out of the timeout with 2.5 minutes remaining, and running off 9 straight to make this an even ball game.
14th turnover of the night for Memphis.
Well, consider, Boise had 13 in the first half, only 2 for them here in the second half, and they've been able to handle the basketball much better. Haven't shot it great, but they found some rhythm on the offensive end of the floor as we've gotten here at crunch time.
Armouche with 5 to shoot. Cutting is Dutrieve. He gets blocked, but a foul on Ball.
But Armouche, who has done it all here in the second half for Boise, dropping the dime, putting the pass where only his teammate can get it. As ball comes up, there's a lot of basketball on that block shot. However, the body is where the call was made.
First free throw is in by Dutrieve from Dallas, Texas. Certainly fans for Boise State cheering, whether it be in Idaho or Serbia. 1 out of 2. Quinones rebound with 45 seconds left to go. 2 timeouts for Boise State, 1 for Memphis.
And we've seen dramatics all night in the NIT. Do we have some more coming in this one?
Ellis can't get it to go. Quinones with a follow. Second half magic again from Quinones. And we'll get a whistle here and a stop as Emmanuel Acott is shaken up, grabbing his left leg.
Well, hopefully that's a cramp. And again, for anyone who's ever had that cramp before, it's no fun, but that's something that you can come back from. And nothing serious. And these guys have played extremely hard as if their season depended upon it, which it does in this game now in the quarterfinals of the NIT. As you see Acott in the midst, No contact, and just as he jumps, you feel it, and immediately, just like that, more than likely that's a cramp. I know it's speculating, but you've seen this a number of times, especially as you get this late in the game and guys who have played so hard. You see Quinones coming up with the offensive rebound, the putback to regain the lead for Memphis.
You can see they're trying to stretch out that left foot. So Boise State using one of their remaining 2 timeouts, so a timeout each side now.
One of the areas as to why this is so key, you're talking about a young man who is not only a playmaker, but a big-time shooter. And Acott, who's knocked down 2 of his 5 3-point field goals tonight in double figures with 10 points and has 5 rebounds to go along with it as he gets help off. And tough for Coach Leon Rice not to have him on the floor in what could be the final possession of this game.
And that's no question about it. That's a tough injury for Boise State in a 1-point game, because also you take a look at the assists. 9 assists tonight. He has 5 of them. There's somebody who is sharing the basketball effectively for his team.
Yeah, he had 9 assists against SMU in their win last Thursday. So we talk about a playmaker as well as a scorer, as is Acott. So a big loss for Boise to not have him on the floor here when they're needing a bucket, down 1 with 32.5 remaining.
This game right in Memphis's wheelhouse. 31 of their last 32 opponents have failed to score 75 points or more, dating back to February of 2020.
And that's the guy, Derek Alston Jr. He's your leader. He's your top scorer, your best player. At some point, he should have the basketball with an opportunity to take the lead or at least get to the free throw line on this possession.
Shaver. Now Dutrieve. Slight difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Dutrieve and missed the shot. Williams with the rebound, and with 13 seconds left, a foul committed by Boise State, and I believe by Armouche.
Well, and I like the idea from Leon Rice. You know, you take it to the basket, good things can happen for you. Dutrieve got a good look going to the rim. I'm not a fan of the floater, but even still, he got a good shot. But when you have Armouche, who Memphis has had no answer for the entire game, and you look at the Memphis lineup, which is a smaller lineup, no Cisse on the floor, no Dandridge on the floor, that may be an opportunity where maybe you could have gone to Armouche and got something going to the rim, a bucket, or even foul.
1-and-1. Front end is good. That's the 4th on Armouche. The Memphis team that has labored at the free throw line tonight. 4 of 12. Gets both. 2 big free throws from Williams to make it a 3-point game.
And we've talked about experience. And Memphis, who has struggled all season long at the free throw line, you've got your 24-year-old veteran coming to the line in crunch time and making 2 big free throws to make it a 3-point game. And right now, if you're Penny Hardaway on this possession, I wouldn't be surprised if you see full court pressure by the Tigers and even taking a foul in the backcourt to not even give Boise an opportunity to get down the floor and get a quality 3. But I think they'll probably try to trap first and see if they can hold the basketball up, kill more time, and then foul if necessary, and not allow Boise to get a good look at a 3.
Boise's about 35% on the season from 3 as a team, 6th in the Mountain West in that department. We'll see if Coach Hardaway allows him to try to test that number. 12 seconds left. Down to 5. Alston fouled with 3.6 left.
You couldn't have played it any better if you were Memphis, because you allow Boise to kill a bunch of time on the clock and then you foul, putting them at the free throw line. Now I would expect to see Penny Hardaway come back in with some bigger guys to make sure they get a rebound on a possible missed free throw, especially the second one.
Alston from the stripe. Knocks down the first. Corey, what do you do here?
Well, right now at 3.6 seconds, I'm not sure that's going to be enough time for you to be able to foul Memphis and still be able to get a quality look. So you may want to consider missing this free throw and trying to tip it back out. But most likely, Coach Rice.
And they try it, and Nolly gets the rebound with 1.8 left.
And I like the quick attempt by Derek Alston, but I'm not sure that his teammates were aware as to what it was he was trying to do on that possession.
Didn't feel that way.
Well, they never moved. That was the biggest concern. Normally you would expect for, you cross in the paint or try to find a way to free up someone to be able to get that offensive rebound and tip it back out for 3.
Nolly sinks the first. Again, Boise State has no timeouts left, and if Nolly hits this one, the odds will become quite long for Boise State in this quarterfinal. Second one trickles out. The heave down court is no good, and it's all over. Memphis survives Boise State 59-56 to advance to the NIT semifinal. For Corey Alexander and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Derek Jones. Thanks so much for watching the final from Denton. Memphis 59, Boise State 56, and they are moving on to the NIT semifinals. SportsCenter is coming up next.